Well, good morning, my friend. It is Thursday morning. Welcome to the Pastor's Podcast. Sorry I wasn't around with you on yesterday. I'm flying home from California. Just didn't get a chance. Got in too late to be able to put in the podcast. But good to have you along with me today. And I hope that you've had a good couple of days. We had a great service last night, great attendance, and always looking forward to what God's doing all the time here, Maranatha Baptist Church. Exciting days. And truly is exciting seeing what God's going to do. Getting ready for the last Sunday of the month, if I'm correct on that. And then we start going out, and in the month of October, we have our fall campaign coming right around the corner. Looking forward to that, seeing what God can do. And I hope that you have a great fall as well. Well, I want to talk to you today about the precursor to miracles. In Mark chapter 6, verses 12 and 13, it says, "And they went out and preached that men should repent. They cast out many devils and anointed with oil many that were sick and healed them." Now, when you read the verses that I just read to you, it would be hard not to have a desire for God to do through you what he did through his disciples in casting out devils and healing the sick. The miracles that God did through these disciples should be the desire of every believer. However, those miracles would never have happened if the disciples had not gone out and preached. Understand, before one devil was cast out, before one person was anointed with oil and healed, disciples had to obey Christ's command to go and preach the gospel. You see, had they not gone and preached the gospel, not one devil would have been cast out, and not one person would have been healed. Now, we often want the miraculous without doing what God commands us to do for the miraculous to happen. But you'll never see it without the difficult encounters that happen after you obey God to go and preach the gospel. Now, I often talk about the miracle of Maranatha. And you might see me making that post right there. Now, some may wonder why I call it a miracle where I pastor. There are several situations we faced when I became pastor. I was 49 years of age when I took the pastorate here at Maranatha Baptist Church. Many have said that nobody has ever built a great work after 40 years of age. Now, the church I took was a small church that was predominantly attended by older people. Our buildings were old. They desperately needed to be updated. The people got behind me. We have great people here. And together we went out and aggressively started reaching the lost for Jesus Christ and bringing them to church. And the miracle of Maranatha began to happen as the church started to grow because of souls being saved and baptized. Now, then COVID hit. Now, when many churches chose to stop, we chose to continue going forward and believe that God could still do his greatest work through an impossible time. We never stopped how aggressive we were with our soul winning during this time. And this was the time when God's hand became most obvious on our church. We doubled our attendance during the time of COVID. The miracle of Maranatha happened because, and is happening because, we obeyed God to go and preach the gospel. And he honors us by giving us the miraculous. Now, you will never see the miraculous in your life or ministry without going and preaching the gospel of Christ to the lost. God's not going to work through any individual or church that is not preaching the gospel. The purpose of the miraculous is to reach the lost. Now, if I were in a church that has cut back or has canceled their soul winning, I'll be honest with you, I'd get out of that church and move to a church that's aggressively soul winning so that I could see God do the miraculous in my lifetime. Listen to me. I don't want the next generation to grow up and never see God do something in their lives or in their church. Now, you're never going to see the miraculous without encountering the impossible. Many quit when times get hard, and that is why they never see God perform the miraculous in life and ministry. Have you ever considered that God allowed you to face the impossible so that he could perform the miraculous through your life and ministry? It is not time to quit when you encounter the impossible. It is time to increase the preaching of God, of the gospel, for it's the time of the impossible that God does his greatest works. Now, my friend, I want to challenge you today. Go. Be a preacher of the gospel. I'm talking to everybody. Anybody can preach the gospel. That's called being a soul winner. Don't quit when you encounter the impossible. For the miraculous, get this now, it's not that far away when you encounter these times. Too many people are giving up and not going so, and they say, oh, it just can't be done today. Of course not when you're a lazy bum and you sit there and never tell someone how to get saved. I think of these preachers who say, well, we're beyond the miracle. Let's just hold on. No, let's not hold on. Let's charge and keep someone out of hell. These lazy bums who don't go soul winning, get out of the ministry or go soul winning and see God do something. Good night. Got a bunch of lazy preachers saying, well, it just can't be done. Well, no, not with your lazy carcass not going soul winning. You ought to go soul winning. You ought to go tell somebody how to get saved. Stop giving in every time you face something impossible. The apostles in the New Testament, they faced the impossible. They faced the fiercest time of their day. They were being killed, yet they didn't stop. They kept on going. This generation is so soft, wearing lace on their underwear, not doing what they ought to do. Why? Because they're lazy. They don't want to do something for God. They just want to get comfortable. God can do the miraculous today, my friend, but somewhere there's got to be a people that say, okay, we've got to become soul winners. And we've got to not stop when impossibility comes. And we've got to have a drive for God to do something. That's when the miraculous happens. The disciples would have never cast out one devil, never seen one person healed if they had not gone soul winning. The miraculous starts happening when you start becoming a soul winner. When your church starts becoming a church that aggressively reaches the lost for Christ. Oh, I hope this is a challenge for you today. Now, let's remember today, be good to everyone. Everyone's having a tough time. Have a great day, my friend.